All right, yeah.
I'm a hose guy.
Yeah, and I like butt drugs. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Butt Drugs and Nugenics, for another edition of this fine quality program.
Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome. It's nice for you to be here and enjoy stuff that would be on the radio if it weren't so damn entertaining.
It wasn't so entertaining.
Radio's no place for entertainment.
No, that's obvious. Just tune it on, and you can tell right away. I am not entertained. I am bored.
Well, and you think we're kidding, but if you listen to any of your favorite local radio stations or the ones you hate across the country, you will always hear somebody say, "Big news in the weather this weekend. It's going to be sunny. Go to our website to find out more." You know, they never actually tell you the good stuff. You know?
Right.
Funniest thing Julia Roberts has ever done. Go listen to our podcast to find out why. So it's never good enough to put on the radio. You have to go somewhere else to hear it, and that's what this is.
Yeah, we cut out the middleman. Yeah. We just go straight to the good stuff right here where you get your podcast.
And we had a whole show where it was like, hey, this is a great show coming up. You can't hear it. You have to go listen to it on the podcast.
Right, exactly. If we were actually on the radio, a majority of it would be telling about other stuff that isn't entertaining.
Not on the radio.
Yeah, that's right. That's not on the radio. So here we go. It's Mike and Molson, Too Good for Radio podcast. We begin with archaeologists have now found what they believe to be the 10 oldest jokes in human history.
The oldest jokes.
Yes.
There's one of them. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Is that on the list?
I think that's on the list. Okay. Also, there's a "That's What She Said" joke is in there somewhere. But I have all 10 of them. Where the archaeologists think where they found it, what year it came from.
Okay, cool.
Okay? Number 10, a joke about a haircut from ancient Greece, 300 to 400 A.D. Asked by the court barber how he wanted his haircut, the king replied, "In silence."
See, that's funny.
That seems like one of your ancient ancestors there. Here's also from ancient Greece, 300 to 400 A.D., one about a donkey. Wishing to teach his donkey not to eat, a pedant did not offer him any food. When the donkey died of hunger, he said, quote, "I've had a great loss. Just when he had learned not to eat, he died." It's a thinker. Mm-hmm. That one's a thinker from 300 400 A.D. We turn now to ancient Rome for an ancient your mom joke. This is from between 63 B.C. to 14 A.D. So right around the time Jesus could have used this one on somebody.
Yeah.
The Emperor Augustus...
This may be a joke that Jesus heard.
Yeah, it very much could have. The Emperor Augustus was touring the empire when he noticed a man in the crowd who bore a striking resemblance to himself. Intrigued, he asked, "Was your mother at one time in service at the palace?" "No, Your Highness," the man replied, "but my father was."
Zing!
Gotcha there, Emperor. Take that, buddy. Number 7, a sex joke from ancient Egypt, 30 B.C. Man is even more eager to copulate than a donkey. His purse is what restrains him.
Wow. That's a sick burn.
It is a sick burn. Look at the ancient Egyptians. Not only building pyramids, but sick burns.
What's that say about the women of ancient Egypt, too?
Yeah, good question. A joke that's also a riddle.
Okay.
From ancient Greece, 429 B.C. So far, these have been okay. Oedipus Tyrannus by Greek playwright here's the actual joke itself. Question: what animal walks on 4 feet in the morning, 2 at noon, and 3 at evening?
4 feet in the morning, 2 at noon, 3 in the evening. Mm-hmm. I give up.
Man. He goes on all 4s as a baby, on 2 feet as a man, and uses a cane in old age.
That's the stupidest thing I've
That's
heard.
That's like the dad joke of these things.
That's not even a joke. That's a joke.
That's a terrible riddle.
Yeah.
Get rid of that one. You know what? You suck at ancient Greece, 429 BC.
Yeah,
you got funnier.
Philippodabates or whatever your name is.
Sophocles, whatever. You can go suck it. Number 5, pun on a name from ancient Greece, 800 BC. Odysseus tells the Cyclops that his real name is Nobody. When Odysseus instructs his men to attack the Cyclops shouts, "Help! Nobody is attacking me!" And no one comes to help.
Uh-huh.
That's another stinker.
Yeah.
The Greeks, not so good.
Was that written by Dane Cookades?
It's Carlo Menciades. He stole it from a different guy. Number 4, a joke about an old married couple. This is unknown from 1100 BC.
All right. Jimmy Fanilopoulos.
A woman who was blind in one eye has been married to a man for 20 years. When he found another woman, he said to her, "I shall divorce you because you are said to be blind in one eye." And she answered him, "Have you just discovered that after 20 years of marriage?" That's That seems like, what was his name from Caddyshack 2? The comedian.
Ralph Cramdenopoulos?
Ralph Cramdenopoulos.
I don't know.
No, I can't remember. He was in Caddyshack 2. I wish I remembered who that was.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my Caddyshack 2 reference level is pretty limited.
Yeah. Number 3 on this list of the 10 oldest jokes known to mankind from archaeologists, a joke about livestock. This comes from Sumeria in 1200 BC.
Okay.
3 ox drivers from Adab were thirsty. One owned the ox, the other owned the cow, and the other owned the wagon's load. The owner of the ox refused to get water because he feared his ox would be eaten by a lion. The owner of the cow refused because he thought his cow might wander off into the desert. The owner of the wagon refused because he feared his load would be stolen. So they all went. In their absence, the ox made love to the cow, which gave birth to a calf, which ate the wagon's load. Problem, who owns the calf?
This is one of those you had to be there. You had to be in the Sumerian desert to get it.
You're never going to believe this. So an ox owner, a cow owner, and a wagon load guy walk into a bar.
All right.
And they're looking for a watering hole, and they walk away. The ox humps the cow. The calf eats the load. But the problem is, who owns the calf?
All right. We'll have more from Gallagheropolis after this.
Carrot-topolis.
Yes. I like making up Greek comedian names.
Number 2, Jackie Masonopoulos. That's who it was. Jackie Masonopoulos was the previous one.
Where's my ox now?
Who owns a calf? That's what I say. Who owns a calf? Here's another sex joke from ancient Egypt, 800 to 600 BC. They say the world's second oldest joke was found in the ancient Egyptian storybook known as Westcar Papyrus.
Okay.
It goes, how do you entertain a bored pharaoh? I don't know. How do you entertain a bored pharaoh? You sail a boatload of young women dressed only in fishing nets down the Nile and urge the pharaoh to catch a fish.
Okay.
And finally, the oldest of jokes.
Yes.
Because fart jokes are always funny. Comes to us from Sumeria, 1900 BC. A young woman did not fart in her husband's lap. That's all it says.
That's it?
That's it.
How do we know that's a joke?
I don't know. Apparently, fart was involved, so they thought it was a joke because everyone loves a good fart joke.
Well, it could have been an old ailment that we don't know about.
Oh, it very much could have been.
And I'm going to take you back to 15th century London, 1632.
Okay.
Or is that 17th century? That's 17th century London.
Yeah, it's always a century ahead. Whatever.
Sorry.
Yeah, you know.
Okay. 1632 London. This is from the London Department of Public Health. The list of diseases and casualties in 1632. These are the things that killed people and the numbers associated with them.
All right.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
One person died from being affrighted.
Affrighted? They just were scared to death?
Scared to death, apparently. 628 people died from just being old. Aged, it says.
Okay.
Ague.
Ague?
43 people died from ague.
I don't know what that is. From arguing?
No,
from ague?
Just ague.
Ague.
I looked it up and then I forgot what it was myself.
I bid you ague.
It has something to do with fever and shivering.
Okay.
I've got the ague.
Stay away from me. I got the ague. I don't want to frighten you to death, but I got the ague.
One person died from being bit by a mad dog. 3 people died from bleeding.
Only 3 from bleeding?
348, however, died from bloody flux, scouring, and flux.
Bloody Flux?
Yes.
By the way, great punk band. Did you ever see Bloody Flux?
They were big on the campuses, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that's all they were.
Bloody flux apparently is a congestive heart failure.
Okay. I got a bout of the Bloody Flux.
Bruised issues, sores, and ulcers, 28.
Okay.
5 people died from being burnt and scalded. 9 people died from burst and rupture. They just kablooey.
They totally spinal tap drummered.
Yep.
Spontaneously combusted.
10 people died from cancer and wolf.
And wolf. That you know what? It's bad enough. Screw that wolf.
Yeah.
It's bad enough you got cancer. The wolf's got to come in and attack you. What a jackass that wolf is.
It's a disease which attacks not only the breast, it sometimes assumes different names when it comes on the legs. 'Tis called the wolf because if left to itself, till not quite them till it has devoured them.
Oh, okay.
Basically, it's cancer.
Yeah. But they call it the wolf.
Cancer, the wolf.
What would you rather prefer? If the doctor comes to you and goes, I'm very sorry, you have cancer,
You're being devoured by a wolf.
I'm very sorry.
That's awesome.
I'm very sorry, but you have stage 4, the wolf.
11 died just from grief.
Oh.
Which 1632, I'm surprised that's only 11.
Right, exactly. Everything sucked in 1632.
Everybody's one of those Charles Dickens kids.
Yes. Please, sir.
43 from jaundice. 8 from Jofflin. I don't know what that is. 74 from impostume.
Okay.
46 killed by several accidents.
Not just one?
Yeah.
Did that like the Tom from the Tom and Jerry syndrome? They kept stepping out. Oh no, back and forth on the rakes.
Yeah, exactly. 38 people died from king's evil.
That evil king.
Apparently, there was a belief that if the king touched you, you'd be cured. But if it didn't work, then it was
the king's evil. Take that, you.
15. I like the way this is put. 15 made away themselves.
Just went away.
Made away themselves.
That is kind of nicer to say, isn't it?
Is what they would say suicide is.
Made themselves away.
Yes. 80 from measles. 7 were murdered.
Only 7 murders in 1632.
And 87 died from liver grown.
No, I can't take it. This is a terrible diet they're eating. Oh, God.
So, I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago when there was a big pandemic.
Yeah, that's right. That was the thing that happened a few years ago. Yeah, exactly.
It was kind of crazy. And this is what it was like every day in 1632 London.
Yeah. So, to make sure none of this befalls you,
right?
Make sure you stay safe, stay healthy. If you were to get a wolf, maybe, a bout of the wolf coming out of nowhere, I actually have a way you can protect yourself.
Do tell, Mike.
I do actually have, not only if a wolf were to attack, I also have how to protect yourself in case you are face-to-face with an alligator, a bear, or a shark. Where would you like to start? You want to start with the wolves?
Sure, yeah. What do you do for a wolf?
Did they say to survive encounters with coyotes and wolves, avoid cornering them, and reverse direction if necessary? One expert recommended people, quote, make noise and look large.
I'm a bigger wolf than you are.
More than likely, they're going to leave. But if they don't, stand your ground and fight back if absolutely necessary, using anything within reach, like a rock or a stick, to defend yourself. Make yourself as large as you can. Scream loudly. Clap. Anything you do to spook it. Hey, get away from me, wolf! Hey,
what's going on, wolf?
Yeah, so that's how you get rid of a wolf. How about a bear, you may ask? That's a great question. The best way to avoid being seriously injured by a brown or black bear is to simply stay away and enjoy wildlife from a distance. That makes sense.
Come on, that's not helpful.
No, avoid making eye contact as well. But if the beast does attack, hold your ground and appear as large as possible. Once again,
avoid eye contact seems rude. It seems like it would offend the bear. And
you can't just look away like, hey, bear.
You're not here.
What, are you flirting with that bear? Like, I don't know.
I don't see a bear. Do you see a bear?
Do you see a bear? I'm a bear, damn it!
No, I think he would slug you for that one.
So it says, it's not, but if the beast does attack, hold your ground and appear as large as possible. Make noises, clap your hands over your head, scream and yell, wave your arms. No! Wacky inflatable arm guy.
Yeah, and that's when the bear just goes,
do things to try and scare the bear.
This guy's weird.
Running away won't do any good, as bears can run up to 30 miles per hour and black bears can climb trees. Black bears often bluff attack, running up to potential prey before stopping and snapping their jaws in a show of force. But fighting back can provoke the animal and make matters worse. It's a wild animal. There's no predicting how it's going to react. If you're attacked, fight back with whatever you can.
Can you bluff back? Does it work in reverse?
Can you fake a punch? Be like,
right. At some point, the bear's going to go, I want no part of this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
He knows things.
He does
He knows tricks.
Yes. He knows. You know what you do? You get in the crane kick position, like the Karate Kid, and then, because there's no defense. Not even for a bear.
Yeah, a bear wipes his paws and says, I'm out.
I'm out. See you later. I saw what happened to Johnny Lawrence. Not going to happen to me. For a shark attack, for starters, don't swim alone, since sharks more often attack solitary targets. And avoid wearing jewelry, as a refracted light can resemble fish.
Yes.
Didn't realize that.
And they're all pawnbrokers.
But if the worst case scenario occurs and the attack appears imminent, stay upright in the water. Once again, you want to look large. You want to be unattractive. So that means I'll never get attacked by a shark.
That's right.
So one way you can be unattractive to a predator is look bigger than they are. The other thing is keep yourself vertical. Tread water while not making a lot of splashing.
You can talk like Fran Drescher, too. That'll keep them shark.
If the shark still appears ready to bite, wrapping them on top of the head is the best last-ditch defense.
With what?
Your hand. Poking the animal's eyes, scratching its gills, or anything else to cause discomfort also works.
I've heard a good eye poke will do it.
Yeah. Who knew that watching the Three Stooges could keep you alive when a shark attacked?
Yeah, then you have to do the thing where you hit one fist and it swings around your head and hits him on the head.
Bops him on the head. I love that part. And finally, if an alligator were to attack you, much like with sharks, the key to surviving alligator or crocodile attacks is to stay as vertical as possible. Even if they appear to be doing nothing, like basking in the sun, they have very quick reflexes, can react very fast. But fighting back is the way to go if an alligator chomps down. A well-timed blow to the head or thumb in the animal's eye may get its much-needed attention and will release you.
So it seems as though the common denominator here is to create the illusion that you're big.
Yes.
How do we know that that's actually worked? Like a guy who's like 5'5". How big can he possibly look?
How do we know? Is Billy Barty still alive? Can we get him out there somewhere?
Right. I mean, it was probably like a big, hulking 6'2" guy who.
It's like someone looked like Lou Ferrigno, and the bear goes, "I don't want any part of that."
The bear backed off, but if it's
how am I supposed to make myself look?
Yeah, I think the bear can see through that.
I think it can too. I think the bear. So I mean, I guess stay vertical, be loud, clap your hands. Okay. But yeah, no. Just for the most part, try to keep yourself out of that situation. Right, yeah. Kind of goes back to what we talked about last week about living in the Midwest. Hopefully you don't have to encounter any of these animals in the long run, so you should be okay. As far as surviving things, this gentleman, a very harrowing experience of his own doing. This gentleman, people here, we're also known as the Sex and Poo podcast. Mm-hmm. People can do kinky stuff. This gentleman apparently would put a padlock on his dong and give his girlfriend the key and kind of a, hey, are you going to lock the key to my penis later tonight type thing?
Right.
Well, the problem is they broke up and she kept the key. So he couldn't unlock his penis.
I'm trying to picture this, but I also don't want to picture this.
No, you don't want to picture this.
Where was the padlock?
The padlock was like he had it really clamped down on the wiener schnitzel there, so it was like clamped in
on the whole unit. On the entire package.
I just think it was on the old shafterino. I don't think it was around the twig or the berries. I should say. I think he just had it really clamped down on the twigs there.
You can't get out of there. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So without the key, you would think eventually it would get to the point where you could just. Yeah. But I guess if it's padlocked tight enough, the blood would stay. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs.
I've used butter in those situations.
By the time... You and me both. By the time he eventually retrieved the key from his ex, the lock had rusted shut. He spent the last 3 months trying to remove it. So 3 months. Don't you think after a couple of days you'd be like, I know this is embarrassing, but I got to go to the hospital. He waits 3 months before he finally gets the key back, rust shut. So the next logical step would be emergency room, you would think, right?
Clanking around like when he went to the urinal and stuff?
Yeah, right, exactly. Apparently he never went to the gym.
Right.
At least if he did, he showed modesty. Right? He never showed he just wasn't standing there for everyone to see.
But you think even someday...
How could you go 3 months with a padlock on your dong?
I don't know.
With a dong lock going on there.
Because even if you're wearing some jeans, someone's going to go, it's like, that looks like you got a...
I must not have worn biker shorts ever. Right. So anyway, instead of going... And this guy is from Spain. Instead of going to the emergency room, he goes to a tattoo artist, a tattoo and piercing specialist.
A locksmith, maybe, could have gone to?
Possibly. And she has a video. The clip shows the man standing with his back to the camera as this particular tattooist and piercist consults with her colleagues. While inspecting what's going on, they came to the conclusion that the lock has rusted, making its removal even more complicated. It's very rusty, of course. So you've been showering with it on, right? The guy's like, well, I want to keep it clean, even though what's going on there.
Good hygiene.
I explained they eventually opened the lock with several carefully administered hammer blows. Very carefully with the key in place and gave it a couple of hits with a hammer, and it came off. And so now the penis is free to do whatever it wants.
Yeah, I think a locksmith would have been the first phone call.
By the way, shouldn't you have known there's usually some kind of hints in a relationship that's going sour, right? There's some keys you can look for.
I guess so,
before
yeah.
you would give the key to the would-be
The
girlfriend.
whole relationship sounds pretty unorthodox.
Yeah, if you're padlocking your penis. Once again,
I've only been in that situation once, twice, maybe. It usually doesn't happen like that.
no, I mean, and usually it was in college and you're really
Yeah.
drunk and it's just like, okay, check this out.
It's been years since I've had mine.
And then
stuck in a pet.
the worst part was then the dog came in the room, ate the key, had to wait for the dog to. Then you're embarrassed because you're going through poop in the backyard to find the key. It's just, if anything else, if you don't take away anything else from this podcast ever, don't padlock your penis.
Well, as technology gets better and better, the question always is, well, what can robots do? And then it's like, and then what can robots do?
Yeah.
What about that?
Well, we talked about the gross Chat GPT guy last week that used his own personal Chat GPT to just be gross.
So anytime there's a new technology, it always goes to something pornographic.
Yes.
It doesn't even go into the realm of sexual health. Maybe this would help people who are struggling or having problems or something. It just leapfrogs and goes right to the most perverted thing you can think of.
Oh, that's what the internet and technology is for in our world anymore.
So there's
And eugenics, she'll like it too.
there's a line of vibrating devices by a company called LoveSense.
Love sense, baby, love sense.
That I guess you can connect to Bluetooth, and you can drive this thing remotely.
Oh, all right.
Right.
There's that whole thing.
So you can wire your lady up and be in the next room and still do that.
Or be on a business trip. I'm not quite sure.
Right, and I guess they use these on some of those cam sites, where it's
Okay.
tip $1 and this will happen. Okay.
What are some of the numbers?
Yeah. And so this company has said, oh, let's involve ChatGPT.
Sure, why not?
And so they've come out with the very romantic and sexy sounding Advanced LoveSense ChatGPT Pleasure Companion.
Anytime you say companion afterwards, it's a pleasure companion. Buy it where you buy it, your local butt drugs.
Lovers of spicy fan fiction
Oh, God.
are all over these things. Once you've picked your topics, the companion will voice the story and control your LoveSense toy while reading it to you.
In what voice?
I don't know.
Is it because if it's just a regular hello, like speak and spell ChatGPT, like yes, and as he penetrates further and further into the nether regions, like is that going to do anything for anyone?
Or maybe at some point it says, and we were on I-80 approaching the tollway and hit the rumble strips.
Turn left in 500 feet.
You give it some parameters, and seconds later, the voice will take you into a journey into the hinterlands. Users can decide what type of story, romantic, sensual, juicy, or spicy. They can select their main characters and the physical location where this lurid fantasy will play out. So you can be out in space. You can be out in the countryside. It says you can have a...
You be at the state fair if you want.
It says you can have a sultry Wild West drama featuring 6 Muppets and a tap-dancing octopus if you want.
That's actually, you know what? Now I'm interested. I wasn't before, but that's very oddly specific, but also right in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, was it the way I said it?
Yes, it was.
That aroused you?
Yes, there was. Well, it was the 6 Muppets and the tap dancing octopus. The 6 Muppets was one thing. I was already intrigued, and then tap dancing octopus came out of nowhere. I'm like, well, now I'm in.
So whatever it is you
That's what
want.
she said.
This says now right that the tech is being tested in beta, and that's you want to stay away from that until they work out all
work out the kinks.
the kinks, giggity, and work it out.
The whole thing's a kink.
But you can go to and I guess I'm trying to figure out.
I'm going to set the parameters. If you buy this right now, you can message the show through our Facebook page, the Bike and Molson Facebook page. If you buy this, I want you to set up a parameter of State Fair with a corn dog by the Animal Barns.
Right.
And see what it comes up with.
And the sexy story is read by Sam Madoni.
And walking, talking robots are involved.
Have you got the robot connected to your penis? Here we go, partner.
Coming up in the sheep barn, we got the sheep cavalcade.
Don't miss the entertainment at the grandstand.
Pick yourself up a foot-long corn dog.
So I'm going to regret clicking on this because now I'm going to get ads from this place. But it looks like they've got devices for both men and women.
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
So,
just don't padlock it to down there.
Join in the fun there. Join in the fun
at the Illinois State Fair.
At the Love Sense Barn.
Make sure you go milk a cow or something else at the Illinois State Fair.
Don't forget your corn dog.
That's right. And finally, in the Mike
and she'll lemon shake up it too. I don't know. I can't stop now.
She'll deep fry it too. Snickers, deep fried, always satisfies, like butt drugs and eugenics. Finally, here on the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast, this is a doozy. So normally we do like Dear Prudie or Reddit Am I the A-hole? This is from an advice column from The Atlantic. And you're going to need string theory to figure out what's going on here.
Oh, great.
It begins. When I married my husband, he had 2 adult children, and I had none. We both wanted to have a child together, but my husband had a vasectomy after his second child was born too long ago to get the procedure reversed.
Okay.
We didn't want to use a sperm bank, so we asked my husband's son to be the donor. We felt that was the best decision. Our child would have my husband's genes, and we knew my stepson's health, personality, and intelligence. He agreed to help. First of all, how do you go to your son and be like, "Hey, son, my new wife and I want to have a child.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad's firing blanks. Could you give me a sample of your baby batter to impregnate the stepmom?"
Here is a cup and a syringe. We want you to step into the bathroom for just a minute.
Yeah. It sounds like something you put in that chat GPT
to figure out.
Yeah. Our daughter's now 30. How do we tell her that her quote-unquote father
yeah.
How do we tell her that her quote-unquote father is her grandfather and her quote-unquote brother is her father,
yeah.
her quote-unquote sister is her aunt, and her quote-unquote nephew is her half-brother?
You take it to the grave. You've made a terrible, terrible mistake.
My husband and I are anxious, confused, and worried about telling her. This is also hard on my husband because he wants our daughter to know that he will always and forever be her father. Thank you for any advice you have to offer. Do you follow that string theory there?
I follow it, yeah.
Stepbrother's dad.
Sperm bank sounds really nice right about now.
It really does. I appreciate what they were trying to do, but did not dad not have a brother?
They were...
that could have done that instead of son?
Maybe not.
Because it's all goofed.
They were trying to keep the DNA line
right, it's consistent,
pure, whatever they were
trying to go for. Right.
Totally unnecessary.
No, not needed. Not needed. You could have just loved the child as your own, regardless.
I bet there's some really brainy scientist sperm swimming around at the sperm bank that you could have gotten.
You could have gotten, yeah.
Or like an Olympic swimmer or something like that.
So, the advice columnist.
What? You don't have this conversation. You just don't. You just don't.
I think you take it to your grave because
why? What obligation do you have to tell?
And what do you expect to happen, right? If you've been living 30 years thinking your dad is your dad, and someone comes to you and goes, "I know you." Here's the thing, all right? Funny story about this. Your dad, he's still related. But he's actually your grandpa. Well, who's my dad? Do I know my dad? Funny story about that. Your dad, your stepbrother? That's actually your dad. Did he do it with you, Mom? No, he didn't do it with
Worse.
me. Yeah, exactly. Worse. He donated to us. And so your stepbrother's actually your dad.
Man, even a worse scenario would be the stepbrother just blurting it out sometime. Like an older brother would do.
Right, exactly. Well, he was old enough to be out of the house and an adult at the time.
Oh, okay.
So he wasn't around it wasn't like he was 18.
Okay.
He was an older adult when he donated. But you're right. That would be an older brother thing to do. Be like, yeah, you're not adopted. I'm your dad.
Yeah, you have to do what I say now.
I'm your dad. No, you're grounded.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're my stepbrother. No, I'm not. I'm your dad.
Yeah, it was my sperm and mom. It's like, what? That's not how you pick on a kid.
So they say...
That's not a taunt.
No, not at all. They say, the advice column says, how do you tell your daughter? First, state the facts as simply and clearly as possible. Tell her we have something important to tell you, and we wish we had told you sooner. We want to have it, and you tell the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. Then apologize and take full responsibility for not telling her the truth from the beginning. Don't make excuses or ask for her understanding. Tell her you
Time
can
out. Time out.
back that train up.
Apologize for not telling the truth from the beginning. What age is it appropriate to explain? I mean, think about that. What?
True.
8, 9? When do you say that?
Yeah,
at an age that where it's comprehensible.
Yeah, because you can't tell it.
That's what I mean. You can't tell it at all.
You're right, because you can't tell it as a teenager when they first be able to comprehend.
Yeah.
Because then they're carrying that through all the trials and tribulations of being a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
You can't really say when they're in college or when they graduate because there's other things going on. Then when they start going in the dating world, there's no good time to lay on someone that, by the way, your stepbrother's your dad and your dad's your grandpa.
Right. Because then she's got to bring a boyfriend home and say, I'd like you to meet my dad-ish.
My grandpa, that's my dad. So basically,
you lock this thing down.
Yeah, they say,
and you send the stepson to Siberia or something.
Right, they never see again. They say, don't make excuses or ask for understanding. Tell her you can imagine how shocking this may be and that you feel terrible for denying her the right to know where she comes from and who she is. If she asks why you keep this secret, tell her that you were afraid of defending or justifying your decision. Reiterate that if you could do it again, you would be honest from the start.
We were afraid that's going to mess you up like it is right now.
Yeah. And
we were trying to put that off as long as possible.
They say the key is to talk as little as possible and not make this about your feelings. Instead, check on her and make sure everything's okay.
Tell me, what is the upside of telling her?
Nothing.
What is gained?
Nothing. Clearing your it's all about you, obviously. It's about clearing your conscience, I think. It's not about making sure she knows the truth. This is really about you getting closer later on. Because if the dude was too long ago to reverse it, right? Which is that a thing? I thought those are always kind of reversible.
Stuff below the waist, I don't understand at all.
No, I don't either.
I'm amazed it works at all.
Exactly. I'm amazed that that mine worked. But thank you, Nugenics.
Yeah.
She'll like it too. But yeah, I don't know to your point, what the upside. It seems more about the individual, about the parents clearing their conscience.
That should be your clue. That it's okay if it's messing with your head. Why are you going to offload that on somebody?
Why is it?
Take that to the grave.
Why is it a 30-year shelf life?
Arrest these people.
Why 30 years after the fact you go, you know what? Maybe we should really tell Joyce.
Hey, who was the gynecologist that rubber stamped this thing?
Yeah.
Somebody had to approve this.
I don't know, because they don't get into detail how it became the pregnancy thing. I think you may not have been wrong of the fact of just it happened.
You think he just sent him in the other room? And
and that, I don't know if because they don't get into detail on that.
Yeah, hurry back.
And she's 30 years old now.
Before it spoils, bring it back.
Hurry up! It's gonna. Oh no! Oh, sorry. We got it in our haste. The first round didn't take. Could you do that again?
Give me about 25 minutes.
Yes. Hold on. Hey, Mom, could you make me a sandwich? Mom, can you make me a sandwich?
Let me just take a nap for a second.
Before I redo this, Mom, could you make me some Eggos? It's just goofed. Why do you need to tell? And what's the shelf life for 30 years?
Well, yeah, I mean, somebody...
I understand I'm burdening yourself, but then you're burdening that person.
Right. All you've done is you've offloaded the weirdness onto somebody else.
But is it better to unload it now than...
Maybe we shouldn't be saying unload. That's probably the wrong...
Because that's what got him in this problem in the first place.
All right. So you spray this information on somebody.
So you splooge it to him. Do you splooge it at this point, or do you wait till the last minute deathbed splooge and be like, one last thing before I go?
No, you die. You die with it.
Okay,
you die with it.
I tend to agree with you on that, because there's no good time to ever tell anyone your dad, your grandpa, and your stepbrother's your dad.
I got to think the stepbrother is a little embarrassed, too, so I don't think he's looking to...
No, you probably have to tell him first to say, hey, by the way, you may be getting a stray Father's Day card from your sister. Just so you know.
I hate this story.
I hate these people.
Yeah.
They can go to...
This shouldn't be allowed.
Jackie Masonopolis can give them a quick quip, and we'll end this one.
God's sakes.
So, yes. So thank you again for listening to stuff that was too entertaining to be on the radio. It's the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast.
What?
Huh? And she'll like it too.